Hello everybody, this is Kirby over yonder, and Hall of Egress is one of my favorite episodes of Adventure Time, as it's not only an episode with an amazing concept, gorgeous visuals, and great atmosphere, but it also challenges Finn in a way that no other episode really has before. But how does it challenge Finn, and why does it do so? Well, here's my take on the episode. While Finn has definitely proven himself to be a worthy hero by this point in the series, one constant is that he almost always has his friends by him. He almost always has someone, usually Jake, by his side to help him if he needs it. This is the first way in which the Hall of Egress challenges Finn. By blocking the entrance so Jake can't get in, Finn is forced to complete the Hall of Egress by himself. Heck, even later in the episode when Finn and Jake do meet up again, Jake isn't actually able to help Finn, and is usually the cause of Finn having to restart. A major theme of this episode is taking away as much resources from Finn as possible. For example, at one point in the episode, Finn tries to use the thread from his shirt to make a path in case he gets lost. However, this fails almost immediately. Then there's the door. Finn tries to open the door multiple times, but every time is unsuccessful. That is, until he closes his eyes and is able to just walk through. But the catch is, every time he opens his eyes, he has to restart, even when he gets out of the cave. Forcing Finn to complete the Hall of Egress blind is yet another challenge the episode puts on Finn. Another obstacle that challenges Finn is the path out itself. Finn tries to create a map to help him get out of the cave, however it proves to be unsuccessful. But when he just charges in, he's able to get out of the cave pretty easily. Finn has quite the history of making things more complicated than they need to be, which typically results in him failing. So it was important for Finn to learn that sometimes the simplest solution is the best. However, just because he made it out of the cave doesn't mean his journey is over, because he still can't open his eyes without restarting from the beginning. And Finn uses everything he learned from before to get out of this mind puzzle, including getting rid of all his clothes, which is another example of Finn losing his resources. But unlike the examples from before, which were involuntary, this was voluntary, meaning Finn chose to do it as opposed to being forced to. The Hall of Egress was Finn's biggest challenge because he had to do it all by himself. No BMO, no Princess Bubblegum, no Jake. And Finn needed to go through it to prepare himself for what was to come. Losing his arm again, the creation of Fern, meeting his mom and the other humans, the events of Elements, the Great Gum War, and of course, Gulb. And sure, Finn had gone through some pretty crazy stuff before, but most of that was saved for season premieres and finales. It was pretty spaced out, as opposed to the later seasons where most of the stuff pretty much happens right after the other. One interesting thing I realized is that a lot of what Finn goes through in the last few seasons is similar to what he went through in Hall of Egress. For a good chunk of Mysterious Island, Finn had to traverse the island on his own, much like how he did in Hall of Egress. He doesn't have Jake by his side throughout the second half of Elements. And in 3 buckets, he's trapped on his own in a room and has to figure his way out. It's funny, for as standalone as this episode is, you almost forget how big of an impact this must have had on Finn, and how much it shaped his character going forward. Even though what Finn had to go through in Hall of Egress wasn't pleasant, it was completely necessary for him to grow, both as an adventurer and as a person.
No more threads to follow. No more egress.